This week, we again take up what we should be doing. One of the things we have to keep in mind is that we have to look beyond the election. While elections are important, they are only steps along the pathway to victory. What we are saying this week repeats much of what we've said recently, but we simply have to make the point again. The John Birch Society has an agenda. It is a counter-agenda to what the globalists have as their agenda. No single issue will save this country. We do not look at the issue du jour and get sidetracked from our main goals. We take the long view. The analogy I like to use is about the sheriff and his posse who have figured out where the outlaws are heading, and the sheriff moves to intercept them at the mountain pass. The sheriff knows that if he can get there first, then the outlaws will be trapped and captured. That's what we do. We know the goals of the conspiratorial forces we fight. And if we can get in front of those goals and expose them, slow them down, and finally stop them, then we will save our republic. No other conservative, constitutionalist organization seems to think this way. So they engage in the issues that the other side wants them to busy themselves with, failing gradually. Again, we have to look beyond the election, and no matter who wins, what we will do will mean a great deal to the future of our country. There are two pieces of our agenda that are relevant today as they were when we started them in the 1960s. We have to put most of our effort into our Support Your Local Police and Keep Them Independent movement. It is obvious that the enemies of freedom are about to change our local police into first a national police and then internationally controlled police under the United Nations. Within 2020 alone, cities across America have experienced pressure not only from above but also below. The pressure from above is elected government officials supporting the defunding of the police. You then have the pressure from below with getting the decent citizens to support the police in such a manner that they support the federal funding, equipping, and a regulating of our local police departments in the name of stopping the street violence. If you cherish our republic, we as a community and as a local government need to support our local police, not only financially, but also through the support of allowing them to do their job. We cannot allow them to be federally hamstrung anymore. It only drags us further into the swamp we call Washington. The globalists' agenda is quite simple. Once they control some key areas, such as the police, in the end, the globalists will control you. Without a doubt, the globalists and the Marxists in the United States, allied with their Chinese counterparts, planned what they would do to start the process of controlling our citizens using a pandemic. The evidence is quite convincing. For several years, the Chinese, along with key American organizations, planned what they would do during a pandemic. It was all planned out. Again, the evidence is quite convincing, part of which is in our book, China. Now they want to use the programming of our citizens during the shutdowns against the Bill of Rights to continue. Now they want shutdowns in the name of saving the planet. It's called the Great Reset. We invite you to go online and look at what they're proposing to do to our freedom in the name of the fear of the destruction of the earth by human activity. Throughout their website and literature, they promote the use of a pandemic as a, quote, portal, a gateway between one world and the next, unquote. Look, if anyone in 2019 would have said there was a conspiracy brewing relative to shutdowns and the curtailing of our Bill of Rights and the Constitution due to a disease, you would never have believed it. Well, open your eyes and see what they have planned for us next. This all culminates in the United Nations. One of our major agenda items has always been to get us out of the United Nations. Since 1962, the John Birch Society has been exposing what they're doing, but we need to continue in order to destroy the entity as a whole. Globalists can't use the United Nations against us if the UN no longer exists. Again, we have to look beyond the election and continue to work on these agenda items no matter who wins. The deep state is alive and well, and this fact has become more obvious due to this election. They are deeply entrenched, and we must do all we can to expose the problems and offer the solutions, real solutions, that in the long run will save our country. Our Support Your Local Police and Get Us Out of the UN programs will do this. Keep in mind that the other side is organized. We need to set up a counter-organization. Physical organizing is the key to victory. If you are not active in your local area with either of these programs, contact your area coordinator and ask him how you can get involved in setting up an ad hoc committee to promote these agenda.